Hello, everybody, and welcome to a different kind of video. Again, I know I'm doing this a lot. Whatever. Hopefully you're here for me and my opinions on things. That's why I assume you watch the reviews or my streams or whatever. So here's more of my opinions. This time, you're getting my live reaction to the winners of the Steam Awards, and the reason I decided to do this is because there is a certain category with a certain winner that I have some strong opinions on that has apparently been stirring the pot a little bit, the metaphorical pot, right? So I want to get my reaction to that along with all the other winners for the categories of the Steam Awards. Especially since, unlike the Game Awards, the Steam Awards, the one doesn't have a show, right? So there's no reason to live stream it because there's a show, right? But also because it is entirely audience voted. It is entirely user determined. The nominees are user determined and the winners are user determined. So we get to see how poorly the Steam audience votes on things, you know? You can see how poorly, and I'm saying poorly now because that's just a prediction. That's just a prediction for me. So, let's get into this, shall we? Game of the year. We're just going straight from the top here on the Steam Awards page. Game of the year, Baldur's Gate 3. Yes. Yes. No, I don't care. I don't care what any of you think. The finalists were Resident Evil 4, which is a remake of a game, albeit a good game, but still a remake, so I'm a little iffy on that. FC24, it's a mediocre football manager. Or European football, the European football, the soccer, right? Lethal Company, that's only there because it's popular right now. It's a bit more of a fad game. It's a bit more like a Mogus than anything else. And Hogwarts Legacy, no, it was alright, but it's not Game of the Year material. Baldur's Gate 3, absolutely Game of the Year material. Let's go. VR Game of the Year, Labyrinthine. Honestly, I have no real opinions on this. The only game that I recognize, there's more than I recognize Gorilla Tag and I Expect You to Die 3 out of the finalists. I personally voted for I Expect You to Die 3 just because I haven't played them, but I have seen gameplay of them, and also I've seen the openings, and I think they make use of VR really well. I haven't seen Labyrinthine, so who knows? Maybe Labyrinthine really does deserve the Game of the Year, the VR Game of the Year winner. I don't know. I'm not going to take a strong stance on that one because I don't have VR. I just personally I really like the I Expect You to Die series at the very least in terms of aesthetics. So I'll let other people determine whether Labyrinthine was a worthy winner. Labor of Love. This was the problem child of the group. Oh boy. So, Labor of Love. The finalists were Dota 2, Rust, Apex Legends, Deep Rock Galactic, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Only one of those deserves to even be in the running, and that is Deep Rock Galactic. Dota 2 had, one good gameplay update amidst it being Dota. Rust is... What has Rust done at this point aside from exist? Apex Legends, same thing. What has it really done aside from exist? Deep Rock Galactic, they are actually consistently updating the game, making gameplay changes, overall just making the game better and better and better constantly, without these large spans of time in between it all. And then Red Dead Redemption 2, a game that basically got dropped on everyone at release, and then promptly abandoned. There's no DLC, there's no content update, the online area has just been thrown to the wolves. And by wolves I mean hackers. It has been completely thrown into the hacker territory, right? Just like GTA Online, Red Dead Online is a hacker's playground, right? It is a game that was really good when it came out, and then, which wasn't even last year, I don't think. Was it last year? No, it was like 2021, wasn't it? It was 2019. This game came out 2019, so for one, it shouldn't even be qualifying for any of these awards. This game came out years ago. years ago, right? It shouldn't even be qualifying. Guess what? It's the winner. It's the winner for the Labor of Love Award. This is the one where I have some strong opinions. You've already heard what my strong opinion is, and it's that it shouldn't even be here. It's a game from 2019 that was good when it came out and then promptly got abandoned afterwards. So the thing I wonder is, how many of you... it's a little cringeworthy to use this term unironically, but straight up, how many of you normies are just finding a game that you heard was good and then nominating it and then voting for it just because you know it exists and you've heard people talk about it? You probably... a lot of these people don't even remember when it came out. 2019. Red Dead 2 is pre-pandemic. It's a pre-pandemic game. It is 2024 now. The beginning of 2024, but still, how? How? What? Why is this the winner? It's got no updates, no DLC. It just launched and then existed, and the online mode was left to be eaten away by hackers. What is there to vote for a labor of love? You think this is Rockstar's labor of love? A game that they just dropped on everyone, then proceeded to leave behind in favor of more GTA Online shark cards and making GTA 6? No, this is not a labor of love. I don't care how good you think Red Dead 2 is. It's not a labor of love anymore. It may have been when it was being developed. It ain't anymore. It's been like 5 years. It has been like 5 years now. You just need to let it die. Just let Red Dead just lay where it is and just be what it is. Don't keep trying to dig it up and make it win more awards that it doesn't deserve to. This is insane. I don't understand. Don't understand why it did this at all. But you get my idea. I voted for Deep Rock Galactic. I think Deep Rock was the only one in this category that should have even been here. It obviously should have won. It also should have been the only finalist out of all of these. Like, oh, Lord. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Alright. Oh boy. Best game on Steam Deck. Hogwarts Legacy? Really? Best game on Steam Deck. A game that has no real benefit to being on Steam Deck. Like, this is a semi-online... If I remember right, it's a semi-online game. Or no, it's single player. Never mind. I don't know why. For some reason, I kept thinking it was an MMO style, like Destiny MMO style thing. No, it's single player. But still, it's this big game. This big single player open world game that absolutely is guaranteed to tank your Steam Deck's battery life. Unless you put your Steam Deck on high battery saving mode. And yet, people voted for it to be great on Steam Deck? Like, my man, Brotato is right there. Brotato is right there. A game not only made in Godot, the free and open source Godot engine that I am using to make my games now, but also it's great for a mobile thing. It doesn't just rip through battery life because it's very, very highly optimized and also very lightweight as a game in general. And it's a game in the style of Vampire Survivors, which means you're just running around trying to survive. The only thing you do is navigate the occasional menu and just run around with the joystick. That's it. It's perfect game. A perfect game for when you're just on the go, right? When you're on the go, you feel like playing a game, you just pull that out. You know, it's like a phone game. You gotta think of Steam Deck games as more like higher end phone games in this way, right? Not for gotcha mechanics or anything like that, but for the portability. The portability and the game's ability to be good to play portably is what makes it a good game on the Steam Deck. And Brotato is perfect for that. If you're playing the Steam Deck and you're on the go, you're probably just trying to kill time. You're not trying to get invested into a big story game or anything like that, or explore a big open world. That's what your desktop is for. That's what your console is for. Brotato is a time killer. And so, yeah, for the machine that is designed primarily, for being on the go, and when you're on the go, you're usually wanting to just play time killer games, Brotato is the perfect time killer game for that. The other contestants were Outlast Trials, Diablo 4, Dredge. Yeah, those are the other ones. The only one that I know of out of all those that I feel like could have been a decent contender would have been like Diablo 4, because Diablo's a similar kind of thing. Not getting too heavily invested in it at a given time unless you're specifically going out of your way to do something massive, right? The other two, I don't really know. I haven't played Dredge, and I don't care about Outlast in any way. I don't know what opinions are on Outlast Trials. Let me just... What's the general review score? Oh, Lord. Good thing I have the desktop audio muted. That was a loud trailer start. It's very positive. It's marked off as very positive. Came out 2023. It's a PvE game. Multiplayer co-op. Okay. No real opinions on Outlast Trials. Maybe it deserved to win that, I don't know, but my personal opinion, Rotato is perfect for the Steam Deck. Absolutely perfect for it. I don't know why Hogwarts Legacy of all things won. The Better With Friends award went to Lethal Company. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know how you can contest this one, really. I mean, the category, all the games in this category seemed pretty good. Like, Party Animals, it's a party game. Obviously, it's going to be Better With Friends. Darktide, co-op game. Left 4 Dead style, right? Obviously Better With Friends. Sons of the Forest, survival co-op game. Obviously Better With Friends. Sunken Island, I don't know about that one. I think it's another survival co-op type thing. Yeah, it's a survival, open world survival co-op thing. And then Lethal Company, which, again, survival co-op. But Lethal Company is the most popular one right now, so obviously it won. I think most of the games in this category, I'd be fine with winning. You know, I think most of them are good for this category in general. There's nothing here that's really striking me. Oh, why would you do that now? No, I think all the finalists are good. I think Lethal Company takes it. You know? It won because it's the most popular one out of all these right now, right? So, I'm fine with that. Outstanding visual style. This category upsets me. So, the winner is Atomic Hearts. Or Atomic Heart. Not hearts. There's only one heart. I guess I can kind of see it winning because of the whole Soviet futurism style, right? Like, we haven't really seen that many games try and go for that whole Soviet futurism thing, right? So, you know, sort of the BioShock with a Soviet coat of paint over it, right? I can kind of see how that could win it, maybe. But overall, the entire category just seems very meh to me. I voted Darkest Dungeon just because I thought, or Darkest Dungeon 2, just because I think the Darkest Dungeon aesthetic is far more striking than the other games in this category. But the other finalists, aside from Atomic Heart and Darkest Dungeon 2, are Inward, High on Life, and Cocoon, which they all seem to be games with very, you know, distinct art styles that were very carefully chosen, and, you know, all that, right? These seem to all be games that put at least some level of focus on their art style. But there's no Hi-Fi Rush on here. There's no Hi-Fi Rush on here, man. I thought Hi-Fi Rush should have been a finalist, maybe even won the category. You know? Because I think Hi-Fi Rush is freaking great. Have you seen the visuals of Hi-Fi Rush? It's striking, it's vibrant, it's interesting to look at. It reminds me of Jet Set Radio and stuff like that, which, personally, that's my favorite kind of style. If you can't tell from my reviews, I really like the bright, vibrant, cel-shaded art style. I think I very much have a bias towards that. So, obviously, for something like Outstanding Visual Style, I would have preferred something like Hi-Fi Rush to be in the nominations and even win it, right? But at the very least, while I don't necessarily agree, I do kind of see where people might be getting the Atomic Heart thing from. You know, I get it. I disagree, but I get it, okay? Next up, most innovative gameplay. Okay, no, this has to be a meme. This has to be a meme. The winner for most innovative gameplay was Starfield. This has to be a meme. Either people really are genuinely just, or like, a lot of Steam users are genuinely just straight up NPCs who will vote for anything that they recognize, or people mass voted Starfield as a meme. Because Starfield is the most generic and bland game on this list. It should not have even been in the nominations, but people put it there. I guess because of either it's Bethesda or because of the meme of how bland and boring and like aggressively boring and uninteresting Starfield is. Right? This has to be a meme. It's either a meme or a lot of people really are just that dumb that they will see Bethesda and then immediately vote yes. Yes. Yeah. I have to believe that it's a meme to retain my optimism. The other finalists were Your Only Move is Hustle. I don't know about that one. Contraband Police. No, not really. It's more like a... Contraband Police feels more like a janky version of Papers, Please. Remnant 2. I've played it. It is good, but not necessarily new or innovative. And then Shadows of Doubt, which is what I voted for. Because Shadows of Doubt, if you don't know, is a detective game, right? But the gimmick is that the game is constantly generating, it's procedurally generating new cases for you to investigate and turn in. Which I think is actually very interesting and innovative in a way. The fact that you can try and take a mystery game of all things, one of the most, carefully planned out genres, and try and turn it into something procedurally generated so that you can just keep playing it over and over even after you've solved a big mystery. I think that's a very interesting idea. I think Shadows of Doubt should have won that, but Starfield is popular, and also people memed it into oblivion when it came out, so I assume the reason it won is because of the memes. I sure hope it was. The Best Game You Suck At award went to Sifu. Okay. I'm not against it. I recall Sifu being a very hard brawler. Very hard brawler. Where the whole point was you age over time, or I think you age every time you get killed in the game, I think. And the whole point, or no, it was something about aging, right? Like your character aged over time, and they got stronger in their abilities over time because they were training more, but they're physically weaker and stuff like that, and they have to, it's a whole thing. So I'm not against it. But also, I voted for Street Fighter 6, just because Street Fighter 6, right? I didn't play Sifu. I did play Street Fighter 6, and I really liked it. And especially since Street Fighter 6 kind of made fighting games... It became the most accessible fighting game in the industry right now. Because of the... What's it called? The normal... Was it called normal? Or simple controls? I think it was... No, modern controls. That's what it was. Because of modern controls, Street Fighter 6 has become one of, if not the most accessible fighting game out there right now. And that, I think, has made it... That alone has already made it way higher than most fighting games for me. The fact that they've done that. And honestly, it's still good, and it's still hard, right? So I voted for that personally, but I am pleasantly surprised by Sifu winning. An indie game, although I'm pretty sure it's indie, right? It's just the one studio? No, they had Kepler Interactive behind it. Okay. I have not heard of them. Huh. Oh, they're the guys who published Scorn. Okay, interesting. Either way, it's a smaller studio. I think. So I'm pleasantly surprised. Sifu winning. I'm just glad that FC24 and Overwatch 2 didn't win. Those were two other finalists alongside Lords of the Fallen. Lords of the Fallen, I think, didn't have a chance just because it was way too mediocre and unknown. FC24 and Overwatch 2. FC24 is a soccer management game. I don't know about that one being the best game you suck at. And Overwatch 2, people must have put that on there for the memes, right? Because it is one of the lowest rated games on Steam now. It is one of the most lowest rated, most hated games on Steam. That has to be a meme. At the very least, it didn't win. So you know what? I'm fine with that. Sifu, you do you. Best soundtrack. Oh, I am upset. I am upset right now. You know what? Here are the finalists for best soundtrack. Pizza Tower. Alright, yeah, makes sense. Persona 5 Tactica. Persona 5 music's always good. Chants of Sonar. I have not heard the music of Chants of Sonar, but I have heard Chants of Sonar is a very beautiful, artistic type of game, so I can totally buy it having really good, like, fantastical music. Hi-Fi Rush. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. It is rock. It is like the best kind of rock and pop music, mostly rock music, and it's woven into the gameplay itself. It is an amazing collection of rock music that I'm very familiar with, all woven into the gameplay. So you are fighting to the beat of, like, Cage the Elephant and Is Cage the Elephant? No, Black Keys. Black Keys is in the very beginning. I know Black Keys is in the very beginning. Is it Gold on the Ceiling? I think it's Gold on the Ceiling that's in the intro that I had to mute when I streamed it. But yeah. Hi-Fi Rush, absolutely. Amazing game. Amazing game, amazing soundtrack. Soundtrack is woven into the gameplay. It is absolutely an amazing game that should have won the Best Soundtrack Award. The winner, though, was the last finalist, The Last of Us Part 1. Yeah, you know, the original Last of Us game that came out in, like, 2014, whose entire soundtrack consisted of sad guitar. From everything I recall, the entire soundtrack of The Last of Us was just sad acoustic guitar. What do you mean best soundtrack? What do you mean best soundtrack when this soundtrack is just sad acoustic? No, this is that popularity contest nonsense that I was telling you about before. This is why I say the Steam users are dumb, because they vote for whatever they recognize. They vote for what they recognize. They don't vote for what might actually be good. They vote for names that they see, right? They don't nominate these things. Most Steam users don't actually nominate games, or they'll just nominate games that are recommended to them because it's games that they played before, even if it's games that didn't come out this year, which is how Red Dead ended up on there. And The Last of Us Part 1 is that thing again, right? It's The Last of Us from 2014, whose entire soundtrack is sad acoustics, somehow ending up in Best Soundtrack Award for 2023. Tanya, the Steam users are dumb, man. Steam users are dumb. They need to play more games that aren't AAA. They need to play things that aren't just made by Sony or Naughty Dog or Rockstar. They need to play literally anything else, please. Alright, outstanding story-rich game. Baldur's Gate 3 won. I'm totally fine with that. I am totally fine with that. Absolutely, especially since the other finalists were Lies of P, the Dark Souls game, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 4 was never really known for having the best story out there. In fact, it was known for having one of the campiest stories out there. Jedi Survivor, I'm sorry, but no, Star Wars writing hasn't been very good in a very, very long time. And then a Chinese dating sim? I'm not sure I'm even going to be able to put up a picture of this on the screen, because I don't know. It's some weird Chinese dating sim thing. Don't ask me. Either way, outstanding story-rich game, Baldur's Gate 3, absolutely fine with it. And then finally, the Sit Back and Relax Award, and no shocker, went to Dave the Diver. At the very least, it's not winning Best Independent Game, because, you know, it's not an indie game, it's funded by a large studio. It's funded by Nexon, the people behind MapleStory. So, you know, it's not indie, but we're talking about just sit back and relax. I can get that. I understand it. You know, the entire appeal of Dave the Diver is that it's one of those chill, relax games, right? It's one of those style things. I personally voted for another finalist, Potion Craft, because I have actually played Potion Craft and I think it's very nice. But I would assume a lot of people also find Potion Craft very boring because there's no real characters involved, aside from the occasional recurring customer. But yeah, The other finalists were Coral Island, a Stardew Valley style, farm life sim thing just on an island. City Skylines 2, that ain't winning with all the controversy around it. And then Train Sim World 4. I don't know where that one came from, but sure. Yeah, I think out of all these, it was pretty much guaranteed Dave the Diver was gonna win it. Yeah. Oh well. I'm fine with that at least. It's better than it winning Best Independent Game, So, yeah. Those were all the finalists for the Steam Awards. And that's about it, yeah. There's not much else to talk about. Obviously, I've already told you which awards I'm fine with, which ones made me mad. You get to just say that from me firsthand. And, yeah. I hope to have this video up relatively soon. I'll probably be editing it the same day that I recorded it. And that will be all for me. This has been TheRatMan, and I will see you all later.